recent report came out and said 70% of homes out there who are fatherless, one of their children will have suicidal thoughts and even take their lives. That's a red flag, no matter how you look at it. So what are we doing? Does it really start from building stronger men? Does it start from women being able to raise other women, right? Their daughters, and in a better way to look at men differently? Look, there's two sides to the story. Let's get down to it. Men are becoming weaker because society is pushing them down, and also because they are raised in either A, fatherless homes, or B, overbearing women trying to raise their kids as women. And I'm not necessarily saying that they're raising them as a girl, but they're giving them duties that women typically would have. Now look, this is very important, and I need you guys to understand this. I am not a feminist in any way, shape, or form, and I'm also not a misogynist in any way, shape, or form. I believe wholeheartedly that a man has his duties in life and a woman has her duties. The problem here is that there is no balance. Women now in the households, especially, I would say more than ever that I remember anyways, that's 40 something years ago that I started noticing that women started to slant in the direction of doing more masculine things. Now, maybe men were not stepping up. Hell, maybe men were weak at home and they abdicated their roles as the kings, and women had to take on those responsibilities. Because that's what any woman is going to tell you. I had to take on the responsibility of being a leader in my house because my husband didn't have the balls to lead. There was no framework, no structure. There was nothing there. So if I go back in time, I remember being raised by a very strong father and a very strong mother. And I respected them both dearly. I still do to this day. However, there was always a sense that my father was the alpha in their relationship, in the sense that, listen, when he said something, you listened, you perked up, because guess what? If not, you would get an ass whipping. And believe me, I got many of those. And I don't regret any of them looking back now. But on the same token, my mom was physical with me at times too. She would whip my ass if I was rude, if I was disrespectful. So she held her own. But there was always a sense, a communal sense in our family, that the father was the leader. He was the king of the house, and my mom was the queen. That's the way that I was raised. And I will tell you that foundations, principles, values were so embedded in everything that we do that right now I am very close with all of my brothers. Our family is tight. There's no hatred. Really, there's not even that much bickering. Sure, from time to time, a little bit here and there, but we all love each other. And I will challenge any family out there to be as tight as we are. Very few and far between, because I speak to a lot of men out there, and all they tell me is about their broken homes. They tell me about how they can't stand their father, they can't stand their mother, blah, 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 right? So we already started to lose contact years ago with what real families were about. And it started with the fallout of the father, the man. I would even challenge and say it started with the emasculation of men. Men starting to switch roles with women in some way, shape, or form. And it sucks because women have so much to give and men have so much to give. And what's happening now is that women are over giving and men aren't giving anything. That's the balance that we have right now, and it's not a good balance. There needs to be a certain sense, a movement of men stepping up and reclaiming their rightful role as a king in their homes, in their life. But men instead, they mock you when you talk about that. They make fun of you, they poke you. Ha ha ha, alpha males, leader of the home. Women should lead. And this is the kind of weakness that we have in our society. So fucking weak. And the more I communicate with men and speak to men from all walks of life, the more I realize that men need to find a mission. They need to find purpose in their lives. And I think really, when you break it all down, this is exactly the cause of the downfall from men. This is it right here. We've seen the downfall, and I believe that it's because men lost their purpose. They lost their mission, their why. And I believe that they can reclaim that they can bring it back. Usually I like to say, hey, re-energize that warrior spirit, that fighting spirit in a man, that competitive spirit. Because I believe when you find that, when you re-energize yourself like that, all of a sudden you start executing at a higher level and you start almost finding your groove. And the next thing you know, you start finding your purpose. And that's the idea. Because when a man finds his purpose, and I want you to hear me out here, he is unstoppable. Literally unstoppable. And I say this over and over again, a purpose-driven man, you can't stop this dude. Don't even get in his way. Move out. Because he is coming through at 100 miles an hour. So how do we take these steps to become a quote-unquote purpose-driven man, or a man who reignites the fire in his spirit? Well, first and foremost, I really believe that men have lost a sense of competitiveness. They've lost a sense of challenge. And more importantly, they have stopped their entire life. They have frozen their entire lives based on fear. Fear of the unknown. Fear of how people will see them. That's the world that we live in now. So what am I going to tell you first? Go out there. Face your fears. Do things that are uncomfortable. Put yourself around people that make you feel a little bit uncomfortable. Straighten that back up. Hold your head up. When you walk into a room, stop going into a room full of losers. Walk into a room of winners. Even though at this time you may not be a winner, you may be a loser, but when you walk into this room, you start feeling like, holy crap. You start first as uncomfortable, but then after you're there for a while, you're like, man, there is so much more of me to improve, to grow. And look at these men. They're executing, they're growing. Why can't I do that? That's the question that's going to pop in your head. So get out there, network, shake hands, get yourself involved in powerful groups. Get uncomfortable, push yourself. Once you do that, boom, the next thing. Start, by all means, start figuring out what your goals are. Like literally, write them down. Figure out what you want to do. Not this year. Nobody cares about that. Like literally this week, what are your goals? Then push them out for 2 weeks. Then weekly set goals. And why I'm telling you to set goals at the beginning levels is because now you start to bring in a discipline. Because to achieve those goals, guess what? You're going to have to be disciplined. If the goals include working out, getting out there and executing earlier in the morning, if the goals include, networking, making sure that you are building systems and processes for your company, all the good things that really take a tremendous amount of discipline, let's go. It's time. Wake up earlier. If you're waking up at 6:30 in the morning, normally wake up at 5:30. If the sun beats you, you lost today. So get up. Do your hour. Okay? Hour of working out, meditation, whatever you want to do. It's your time. You are not disturbed during that time. And I write this in Redefining the 21st Century Man. The warrior's hour that belongs to you. Hey guys, if you really want to dig deep in how to be a masculine warrior man, I wrote a best-selling book titled Redefining the 21st Century Man. I would say bend all the pages as you can here. dog ear them, highlight the hell out of it, and start integrating some of these 25 principles here into your life. You can buy this anywhere, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or your sweetheart's desire. Then, as you get accustomed to that and you start building that sense of discipline, the next thing is, well, now you are at work, whatever it is, whether you work from home or you go to an office, you're in working mode earlier. You start getting that. I love to say the morning mind, right? Because there's something special when there's in the morning that things are quiet, they're fresh. You're able to think on your feet a little bit more. And the next thing is, wow, ideas come up, they spring up. It's a beautiful thing. For me, the morning, anytime before 10 o'clock, it's golden. So take advantage of that. Once you start doing that, your discipline will really start reinforcing itself. Your sense of tenacity, now that you wake up earlier and you're doing hard things earlier in the morning, you're slaying Goliath, you're prioritizing your day. That's a beautiful thing. That's going to catapult you to that next level and start bringing back that energy, that fire in your gut. All right, here we go. The next one. What about doing things, not that you're afraid of, we already talked about that, not that you're uncomfortable with, but doing things and starting things and completing them, right? The cycle. Doing things from the very, very beginning and then completing that cycle. Basically is finishing what you started. And I tell this, and I say this to everyone, every man out there that I've ever coached. Build or start a project from A and finish that project to Z. It doesn't have to be a long project, but actually do it. Because once you start building your mindset that you're going to start something and then finish it, you start getting accustomed to that. You start executing at a higher level and you know that there is a finished product that you're going to have at the end. Once you're able to do that, everything else in your life, you'll look at it from the same lens. You start and you finish. You get the job done. You have follow through. This goes into sales, into relationships, into physicality, into mentality. Hell, it even goes into spirituality. You start something, boom, and you finish it. And that's a habit that you build. There are many people, and I know you know them because I know a bunch of them, who always start something and stop halfway through. They have every excuse in the book. Well, don't let yourself fall into that trap. Instead, what you really want to do is hone in and start building yourself the project that you have in hand. Watch it from point A to point Z. Finish it. So I've given you 3 things here, literally, that can change you right now if you start doing them. You don't have to wait a week. You don't have to wait till tomorrow. Start now. So it's all about understanding that discomfort, as I stated on the first one, is critical to all of us. Get out there, shake hands, do things that will put you in a precarious position in your mind. It's okay. You'll win out and you'll get stronger. Now, when we start thinking, and this is something that you have to kind of rewire in your mind, because not all of us can truly do this. Number 2, instill discipline in your life. Like for real. The moment that you start setting goals, you start instilling discipline in your life. And it works this way. It's not just having a goal to achieve the goal, it's all the discipline that you get getting to that goal. That's where the magic lies. And then, of course, finally, what I just stated now. If you're not ready to make these changes, right? If you're not really ready to step up in your life, no one is going to want it more than you. All right, number 3, following through, starting from A and finishing at Z. Complete. Right? A completion of your task, a completion of your thought, a completion of your goal. If you can get there and you can apply these 3 elements into your life, it'll be changed right here and right now. Like no joke. Tomorrow, if you start doing some of these things right now, tomorrow you'll start being stronger. The next day. And little by little, you'll start building yourself as a stronger man. And listen, there are many other things that you need to add to this toolbox, but I believe that if you start with these 3 simple things, it will change your life starting now. It's quick, it's nimble, and you could absolutely get on board with this. If you want to be a stronger version of yourself, if you want to be a man who steps up come hell or high water, if you want to be a protector, a man who could walk into a room and own it, a man who a woman could look into his eyes and respect him, that when you say something, your kids are on it. When you are leading your company, your employees say, yes, this guy is a good leader and I'm following him because of the leader he is, not because of the position he has. Big difference. If you want to be that man, start with these 3 components. All right, guys, if you're enjoying this channel and you like this kind of talk, right, this mentality of really living a warrior lifestyle, embracing the warrior cultures and using these strategies and tactics into the modern day world, and boy, do we need them. Do me a favor, smash that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell, comment, share this video. We need this video seen at least 100,000 times by 100,000 men. Why? Because I believe that if even half a dozen men get some value from this, hopefully they'll make that turn. They'll start being stronger in their lives. And boy, do we need that, right? We want to be in a position where men are at a higher level to support each other and to be stronger fathers, husbands, leaders, and visionaries. This is what this channel is all about. May God bless you. Talk to you guys soon.